Hi everyone, I'm Susan Galinsky.
And I'm Denise Grace.
And we are the founders of G Squared, Galinsky and Grace. So for the best information or advice, please subscribe to our channel and then hit the link below to be notified when we put new videos up here. Try to do that every 2 weeks. So what is sequence of return risk? And why is it important to not only know what it is, but how do you protect yourself against it? And because at G Squared, we don't only just present problems to you, we also like to provide you with the solutions that make the most sense. And so we're going to talk today about how sequence of returns can affect your retirement income. So up until the time that you retire, you are in the accumulation phase. And then when you do retire and you start withdrawing those monies, the length of time that your portfolio is going to last will be dependent on what's happening with the returns in the financial markets for those monies that you have under management. And it's also impacted by when those losses or gains occur. And if that loss comes early in your retirement, or just before you retire, let's think about 2008, because there was severe losses then, right? Then that unfortunate timing, it can be devastating. So when you're talking about retirement, the chances are prior to it, obviously you're not taking money out, but then when you do start taking money out, withdrawing, and the market has some bad years along the way, it can be a big deal. Like I said, when you're still working and you have those losses, lots of times you have time to recoup those losses. But the closer and closer you get to retirement, you don't have that advantage anymore. So once you go from accumulating to withdrawing your assets, dips in the financial market can really have an impact. And so let's talk about sequence of return risk and what it actually looks like.
Okay, so let's look at some examples to make it come to life.
In this first example, what are we looking at, Denise?
Okay, in the first example, we have two individuals, both age 65. They're both starting out with $1 million. And they don't have to take any money out. They're not taking any withdrawals between ages 65 and 90. Investor A starts out pretty good. He's got some positive years, a few negatives, kind of interspersed. The real significant losses don't happen until the very end. Investor B, however, experienced those gains and losses in reverse order. So as you can see, he starts out with a minus 20%, minus 16%, minus 11%. However, because neither of them are taking money out, they actually end up with the same exact return and the same exact dollar amount. It's averaged out to 6.60%.
So this is a great example of someone who might be in the accumulation phase only.
Or they simply don't need to take money out. They've got other resources. Maybe they've got guaranteed income from some other source. So, but the point is, if you're not taking money out, no matter when those losses or gains occur, you're going to end up with the same results.
Okay.
So now let's look at an example when somebody needs to take money out. We've got the same investor A and B.
Same amounts.
The same amount, $1 million, starting out at the same ages. And investor A, because if you'll recall, he had some pretty positive years in the beginning and some interspersed negative years. And because of that, even by the time he turns 90, has taken out $50,000 every year, he still ends up with over $2 million. You can see the same average, 6.60% over the long term. Now we've got investor B. Same amount, starting to take $50,000 out, but look, and right in the very beginning, he's got a 20% loss. He's got a 16% loss, and so on. And in this case, because he experienced those losses early on, he's going to run out of money by age 83 to 84. So you can see, you can't time the market, but what you need to do is prepare for those types of events. So investor B, he's basically kicking his portfolio while it was down by taking out those withdrawals.
Absolutely. Okay, so what can you do to mitigate this risk? Because as Denise said, markets go up and down, and none of us know when that's going to happen. Well, you need a retirement plan. And in that retirement plan, you want to make sure that you have diversified not your assets as much as your financial.
The product,
The
the
products.
function of those products, right?
You can't have everything in the market and just, what am I trying to say
Fingers
here?
crossed.
Yeah, fingers crossed,
Fingers crossed,
things are going to be
right.
great. That's just not the real world. So you need to have the diversification of the products, whether it's assets in the market plus some fixed annuities. You might have some MYGAs. We've talked about those before. You might also have some other assets that are out there that are working for you, whether it's rental income, royalties, etc. But the point is that we want to be aware of what can happen in the market and how it can dramatically affect our retirement portfolio.
And the key really is making sure you have enough income or sources of income or money from which to withdraw. So when those negative returns happen, you don't devastate your overall portfolio.
Right. So at that point, let's talk a little bit about a war chest. What's a war chest?
Well, for me, I have clients. We make sure that our clients have enough income to meet their monthly, their weekly needs. That would include their Social Security. It might include pension. And in a lot of cases, it includes an income annuity.
Also known as a private pension.
Right, private pension. One other thing that I will do for some of my clients, and I've had them kind of look at me silly when I mentioned it, but I'll set up what I call a war chest, which would just be an accumulation annuity, a bucket of money where you can put your money and it will grow at reasonable rates, but you will never lose anything. And I've had, especially in the last couple of years, as the market's gone volatile and they needed to take money out, they didn't want to withdraw that extra money from their brokerage account. So we took that money out of that accumulation annuity, out of that war chest, gave them what they needed, and they didn't have to suffer that sequence of return risk by taking money out when the market was down.
Great solution. All right, so if you'd like to see how sequence of returns could possibly affect your retirement portfolio, schedule a meeting with us. Our Calendly link is below, and we can chat about this, how it could affect your personal situation, and maybe you want to set up a war chest just like Denise recommended. And again, it's important that you do have a written plan, that it's a map for you. It shows you where you're going.
No client leaves our office without a written retirement plan.
Yes. And as we all know, anytime you're traveling, if you got a map, there can be little bumps along the road. So that's something that we also try to prepare for our clients. And again, thank you for listening today. We appreciate you. And at G Squared, as always,
we value building relationships beyond investing.
See you on the next clip.